There we go. Welcome to the Namaste experience, and I like to say the Namaste adventure. I am Reverend Penny Honey, for those of you who might not know that, and it is my joy to be with you. It is my joy to be here in Namaste Village in Ajijic, Mexico, living the life I never thought I could even dream of. And stepping out of the illusion gave me the opportunity to see a new dream. Wow. Yeah, I know. Wow. That's what I say, Elsa. Wow. We traveled to Italy with a group of women, and we decided we would call ourselves the Wows, the Women of Wonder. Yeah. And we have had a week of wonder-filled gatherings, haven't we? Mm. This week we have been sliding and dissolving and unveiling and finally ending up in one of my favorite places, and that's gratitude. So it's my job to wrap us up for the week. And of course, Vicki will be supporting in that. Thank you, Vicki, for being here. So take a deep breath. As you consider the moments of your week, if you had to give your personal week a theme, what would it be? New energy. New energy.
Interesting.
Interesting. That's a good one.
Transformation.
Transformation. What was that, Ruth? Hot chocolate. I like that one. So how about you out there in Zoom land? What theme would you give your week or on YouTube? And wherever you're landing on this recording, what would you give the theme of the last 7 days in this
Dissolve.
expression?
Dissolve.
Dissolve would be a good one. And thank you for muting your microphone. Thank you. Dissolve would be a great one. The voices from way out there is where James started. He said, we were looking at the dead saints and the gurus and the teachers, and this was inspired by him seeing the musical once again, Godspell. We even had a little version of James's high school expression of that, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what we talked about in that was that it is you. And we were reminded of that G-U-R-U, guru. G, you are you. We don't have to rely on anything other than our inner wisdom. I think that's a great teaching. What I noticed in that for me, I had to do a little work around that was, dang it. Can't I put some of this on someone out there? I have a list of where I'd like some of this not so niceness of who I might be in a given moment could go. I have a list. And I have somebody to blame for that. That's why when we hear that statement, it's only always been you. We might recoil a little bit, but the invitation into that was to think of it as swimming in a pool of enlightenment and to come into the deep end, to leave behind the shallow end, to tiptoe down and slide into that deeper understanding and that way of being. I said, get your swimmies. And James reminded us that as teachers, sometimes our job might be, as you're out there in the deep end and you're floating around with your swimmies and you think everything's great, to pop the swimmies, because we know, and you can swim. And when we were given that visual, at the end of that deep end, there was yet another place, a channel that we could go through and land in the wide open ocean of enlightenment and grace. No swimmies needed. You are carried by the inner wisdom that you are. You are held in the light that emits from you. Yeah. We can dive and we can find infinite treasures. And it's always been you. It's what we keep coming back to. And I loved it when Vicki reminded us, you are ready. You are ready to swim in the deep end. Vicki lives in the deep end, and we love that. We love the sharing and where she comes from because she does live in the deep end. And I saw that channel as the oneness and the allness, the portal. And it was there as we entered that small, narrow channel that opened to the wide open ocean that we remembered our oneness. And the ocean gave us that example of what that looks like. The infinite nature of who we are individually and collectively. Yeah. And as you slide into that deep water, you do recognize that power. And really, if you walk away with anything, walk away with this. I can swim. I can swim. And there's nothing to do. There's nothing left to do but to swim and to bask in that enlightenment. We go into the current, and we talked about the current being the present, because in the now moment, there's nothing to do. Now you know how I am about that. I say, chop wood, carry water. Enlightened, chop wood, carry water. Unenlightened, chop wood, carry water. But to know, to be present to the all wisdom that is available to you, you discern clearly what is yours to do. And I love this thing that James said. He said, then why would I write this book, The Annihilated Self, available on Amazon? Please go out and take a look at that. We arrive at this place, and because there's nothing to do, why would I write a book? He said. I said, well, that's funny. I was wondering the same thing. To extend the wisdom that we are, to extend the light that we are into the world. That's why. So you don't have that excuse, oh, there's nothing to do. With that wisdom, we discern where Spirit calls us, and we discern how we want to go through that channel and how we want to open into that infinite expression, the current that leads us out. We talked about Christ is the nature, and it is to dissolve into that Christ nature. But what about my life? What about those things I have to do? What about those responsibilities? You're not annihilating your life. You're annihilating the separation from the life you were intended to have and be. That's what we're getting rid of. That is what we're releasing. That is what we are transforming and annihilating and dissolving back into. In the video, we were reminded that it was about remembering, meaning that we have never left there. And we talked about that voice of the Christ. How do we hear that? And we asked the question, I asked the question, what isn't the voice of Christ? One mind, one divine mind, all thoughts coming from there. What could not be the voice of Christ? And I shared with you some of my mom's wisdom. She said, "You just ain't listening right." And we get to adjust that through the wisdom and the heart that we are. We get a new perspective of how we want to hear that voice of Christ, even when it's saying something I don't like. Now we're doing it. Now we're dissolving back into what we've always been when we can stand with that. In that annihilation, we talked about unfolding it as a gentle, loving nudge to being present to the Christ that is and always has been, where there are no exceptions. And we talked about the power of love. No exceptions. None. No edges. No limits. And we can choose how we receive that. I like the idea with annihilation of taking the free way. The free way. As we dissolve back into what we've always been. And we talked about love not making any comparisons. Not so easy sometimes. Come on. Was that like, oh, that was all, of course, love has no comparisons. Yeah. I was sitting over there going, really? But I have a few right now. And we talked about the power of gratitude, and love is the way. Love is the way, and I live in gratitude. I live in gratitude because love is the way. I'm still working on that no comparisons. I will seek your wisdom on that. And Vicki reminded us that true gratitude happens when we want nothing else from here. When we want nothing else from here. Now we can arrive at true gratitude. And it is a natural state. She so wisely reminded us. We asked the question, is it worth giving up heaven for this? There's a good one. Take that into your weekend. Take that into your study. Is this which is separating me from knowing my divine self, is it worth giving up heaven for? You know, I have a very short list of folks that I can think of that I'd be willing to give up heaven for. In fact, it's really pretty short. Is it worth giving up heaven for? Rest in the awe, and you will move into a place of gratitude. And we talked about that living in communion, right? Communion. Do you feel that? In the moments you feel separated, I invite you to record that feeling of communion. And in your moments of separation, to move into gratitude, because you do know what it feels like to be in communion. We expand into that communion where nothing between us and our divine expression stands. And we remember, by seeing the light in each other, the light that's within us. James shared that fabulous portion of the book, The Annihilated Self, available on Amazon. And in the video, it said this: no process, no path, no destination. The soul is where it has always been, and nothing is the holiest of all acts. It's remembering, it's returning to what we've always been. That's a big slide for 1 week. I keep attempting to come up with a theme, and that's why I invited you into your own, because I couldn't. Other than this, it's all love. We experience that love through gratitude. We experience that love when we take off our swimmies. We experience that love when we live in communion. It's love. I'll let you know if I can come up with something more original than that, but it seems to kind of cover it. I appreciate you. And Miss Vicky, I look forward to hearing what you have to share this morning.
Well, thank you, Reverend Penny, and thank you for all those kind words. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Don't forget, we have Scott when we close. I think Scott's here in the room. I will do that. And the week, like Bonnie said, it's on dissolving, and Akalde said it's on the annihilation. These are all words we use for one thing, just letting go of our pretend self, of who we think we are, letting go of all the things we believe and think and want. It's instead, it's a holding on to something that is real. Spirit. It's invisible, but it's real. We know it's real because it landed us in this room, in this family together. And for years we've been doing this stuff together. So it's about surrender and dissolving and annihilating and letting go. But truly, it's about, oh my gosh, holding on to what is so and saying thank you. You don't even have to say thank you. When we're holding on to spirit, thank you is the only thing that comes out of us because we've been relieved of every burden. We've been relieved of every effort. We have been taken truly by this current of grace that is what truth and love and spirit is and taken care of. And all Spirit is saying, let me take care of everything. And what we have been doing is, accept this, I've got this handled. I'll take care of this. I know what to do with my grandchildren, my son, my this, my that. I've done that. I do it this week. So, and God bless Jimmy. Jimmy gave us his own life as an example. And the reason this book is so important to him, after I guess I've known Jimmy 36, 7 years, long time, is because this is the culmination of his life of letting go. And he was so excited to share it. And I am so grateful that he is because we are in an entrainment together. You know, it's like we're in a flow together, and together we're flowing into more and more each day into the natural order of grace that's always been here, but we have been avoiding because of self will. Self will, my idea that I can handle this. And so annihilation, dissolving, is just realizing not only can I handle it, I don't want to handle it. And Jimmy's own life, being back at Namaste Village 6 months ago, he was leaving and selling and this and that. And there he is, all in the acre holder, wherever he is again. And guided through the current of grace, not through his own desires, to be exactly where he is, exactly where he is. His life has been a demonstration and an invitation, and so are all of ours. And to his invitation, we all said, oh, yeah, we'll join you. We'll do that. And that's what makes us a family, more than a community, a family. And one other thing that Jimmy did, and I just want to mention this, he gave away the EPP program, and it was a one-on-one program to come into this current of grace fully. And was honored to do the last one with him, with a bunch of you guys. I see Isabel and many of you, Bonnie and Akalde, you guys here in the room, Deborah. And it really was a very helpful, effective tool. And what I want to say to any of you that would like to take advantage of his offer is that one way or another, I will help you if you decide to do those 90 days. Oh, Dia's here too. If you choose and commit to do those 90 days and anywhere along the line you need help, I am available and will help you because I know how powerful this program was. It is a program of what this book is, of dissolving our fears and our desires, not by, we face them because we have to look at them. We face them because we have to accept this is where I'm at. There's no avoiding, there's no spiritual bypass in this. There's a whole coming to recognition and responsibility for whatever it is and wherever we find ourselves. But it's not, but it's also with the unwillingness to stay there. It's with the willingness to be moved into the answer. The answer is life by the Spirit. The answer is life by grace. The answer is living in that current of grace with whatever form it seems to take for us. Some hear a voice, some feel a prompt, some lean into love, some hear, feel, smell, sounds, and sensations. It doesn't matter. Whatever language Spirit speaks, we are called to listen, to welcome, to be willing, and to look with wonder on it all. And when we do it together, it becomes more approachable, doesn't it? We become, oh, I can do that. She's doing it. I'll hold her hand. We'll do it together. That's what we're doing. That's what all these years have been, the years of whatever practice we've been doing. The practices are wonderful, but they're just pointers, whether it's the Course in Miracles or Unity or Joel Goldsmith or Hindu Taoism, all of them. The pointer has pointed always to the invisible realm. It is our gift to make the invisible realm visible, visible through our happiness and our peace. And it isn't just in times of trust and trial, it's in our everyday life. If we can stay awake and conscious to our thinking and not let ourselves get away with being afraid without taking responsibility for it and saying, okay, what does this mean? Not my way, what's your way? That's the whole answer right there. Don't let yourselves get away with being frightened. Just look at it, take responsibility with wonder and willingness and welcome. Ask the Spirit, what is your way in this? That's what we've been doing this week. That's what we do every day. I love each of you. I thank you all for your work, for your dedication in doing this. And I'm grateful we do it together. Amen. I love you, Penny. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Vicky. Don't let yourself get away with being afraid. Man, I like that. So I have a quote from this new book. It's called The Annihilated Self, and it's available on Amazon. That was all my idea. I'm sure James is like going like this. So what is annihilated is the separated sense of self, the ego, which reveals the path to love and truth and releases the soul into final spiritual freedom. James Twyman. So this week, I say this. We slide into the deep end. We dissolve into the current. We unveil the Christ within. We walk in gratitude. Love is the way. And to that we say, Amen, 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 e punto. And we'll turn it over to Scott.
Thank you.
Great. Am I being heard?
Yes.